Watch on board RB Racing first. He comes just through sector 2, and he's gone wide. Watch on. If I yeah, that's what I was saying. Which will most likely. Let me turn it off and I'll invite you again, and I'll quickly leave and invite you again. So I'll invite you to Xbox has to be so dodgy the moment we stream. It's amazing. Alright, where is OC? Right. XSR's gone on pole with a 1.6. Yeah, I need to turn it on now real quick. I had it off. Alright. I'm a bit. Right, Trickz has just come across first sector. He does get a pole second one. Now, we still have 10 minutes left. Right, Trickz going sector 2. Gets me wheel spin across the last back straight. And now, yeah, couple keeps it through the last chicane. Can he set a competitive lap time? And he does, and he goes pole by nearly a tenth and a half. This is Enron Nelson lap. We'll see how this one, I'm guessing. 6 times. We'll see if he can get a purple sector 1, and he does. 22.6. Will this be? All up, we'll see if everyone's still on intervals. No one wants to try different so compound. So it does go 9 tenths quicker. If he can get this lap, it will set him with a 1:19.7. Coming across the last back straight, he does have a car ahead of him, which seems to be a Red Bull. Doesn't look like he's out of the way though. Big gap. Has coming through the final chicane. Down into third gear. All on the throttle. A good lap coming from XSR, and he goes across the line with a 1:19.3. That sets him nearly an entire second from P2. Does looks like currently no one's going to beat that lap. We'll stay on board with this Williams of Dylan. So listen very early into he's invalidated. Coming across the last line, crosses line with what seems to be had a lap actually. But let's hope he can set a proper lap now. Going around the first 2 corners in second gear. He's very risky in the rain. Gets on the power. Nice and slow going. Is he going around? Does he set proper sector 1? No, he doesn't. He is 2 tenths off of the purple sector 1 currently. Still 6 minutes left of Q2. Let's see. Going. Across sector 2, and he does get a purple sector 2. We see him go around the last couple of corners on the final back straight. So he's getting foot planted quite early. Oh, they said it was. I invalidates the last chicane. Oh, they said it was purple for me. I have the Mercedes of Yates. He's currently seems to be the second finalizer. Oh, I'm guessing he's just set that. Gilles going on in sector 2. He's 2 tenths down on his time. I've got a yellow car of Mercedes. Looks like just let an Alfa Romeo through. Gilles coming through the last corner, and he does cut the second part of the chicane, invalidating his lap. You have one Ollie, who seems to be a tenth up on his time, going through the last back straight. There is yellow sectors of Mercedes. He lets them through. Can he go up on his time and get into P2? Comes across the last stream. Does he beat Trickz? And he does by 202 thousandths of a second. That is very close laps. Anyone else on the lap? Williams is not. We do have a couple cars going on out lap now for this would look like their final run of the session. See the end of the field and the midfield seem very close, with only a couple tenths separating those cars, whereas the difference from pole to P2 is pretty much a second. I don't know if you'll see Xcite just completely gap the entire field in the race, or something. Start. Looks like it's going to be an interesting one. Forward solo comes across the last 2 corners. Does not invalidate. You do not want to spin out there. Get a good exit for the start of his lap. does get quite a good run through there. Can he go up on his time in sector 1? He's 2 tenths down. 2 minutes left in the session, so someone can still come out of the pits now, try and improve, and that's Ollie in the Ferrari in P2 who's retired. Thinks he's secured his spot for Q3. So Aston goes slow and back straight. He's solo and he is nearly 8 tenths down. It does look like he's backed out of his lap. He'll watch his teammate. He's letting Alfa Romeo through. Let's hope he will be hoping to get a better lap, so to get into Q3 he has to go a tenth and a half quicker to get to P10 with RB Racing, who is currently at risk of going out. And Gilly pretty much losing the back end, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to set a competitive lap time. That might be his qualifying over. We do see RB Racing slam it into a wall. Does it look like they have damage? I don't think he does. He's 1.4 seconds down on his lap time though, so I'm sure he will not be improving. Watch El Pato in the As come across the line to start his lap. He will be hoping to improve as he is a 10th off of P10 and into Q3. So as we see, all the bottom 5 cars out on track with P7 of solo. Does look the track maybe getting a bit heavier in the rain. El Pato coming across and he's 1.7 seconds down, and I am not sure if conditions are going to be getting any better. We do see all Honda going out on the wets, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get a lap in. That's qualifying. The time is up. We'll see the last couple of people go across the line. We have Edwards, who hasn't validated his lap, and that will be his qualifying over. Gilly does come into the pits, and we also have El Paso is the only driver who can improve in the lap time. We'll see if he can get into Q3. I believe he is down a lot on his time there. I'm sure RB will be hoping for El Pato to be down his time so he gets into Q3, but this might be a close one. And he spins it, and it does look like he is very far down in his time. So that is the end of Q3. XSR comes with a pole for Q2 of a 1:19.3, which is a very, very quick lap. And I am sure he will be happy with that, and he's looking good for Q3. Apologise for that. Everything alright? Sorry. Oh good, so the people knocked out of Q3 is Honda, Edward, Patterson, Gilly and Pato. All different cars. Edward, the reigning champion I believe of the last, looking for a 3rd championship, which I'm sure he's going to want to get a good recovery drive in the race, him starting P14. But we now head into Q3 with XSR, who seems to have a massive advantage around here of nearly a second gap to P2. Fair enough. Do we maybe win a prediction on pole in the chat? It does look like it might be wet conditions, so this will definitely put some spanners in the work, and see what the drivers can do. The first driver out on track, I believe, is a Williams of, I don't know if it's Loco or Dylan, I believe. It looks like it's Loco. Just literally spoke on it. So he will be the first person, hopefully, to cross the line if he does not invalidate. But it does look. Do we know if the race is dry? He's already invalidated, but it's an outlap, so it doesn't matter that too much. SKBD5 has put on into tyres. He is in the pits yet. I don't know if is anyone in chat know what the weather's going to be like for the race, or is it going to be a mystery? But yeah, like I was saying, SK has put inters on. He is staying in the pits for now. I don't know if he is gonna try throw some people off, see if they go out, but yeah, I would, something I would do, maybe wait, but I feel like if I would go out and probably try set at least somewhat of a banker lap. So we do see Loco going for the last two corners, about to start his lap. We'll see what lap time he can, the first lap time we'll set for Q3. But does look like pretty much every driver's out on track except for SK, Trickz and Ollie. I believe Trickz and Ollie were both the top P2 and P3 in Q2. He does come across sector 1 with the 24.6, I think it was. That is very slow compared to what Q2 times were, and we can see the track evolution. We see XSR go up on his time, and he might have actually, I don't know. There's a Mercedes, I don't know if that's him on an outlap just slowing down, or I don't know what happened there. He might have spun. Just stay with Loco. A 51.1 for sector 2, and we can see how slow these times are compared to Q2. XSR though does come across sector 2 and nearly 1.5 seconds quicker. Loco coming on the end of the back straight, brakes hard, tries to get on the throttle, keeps it clean through there, and the first lap time of Q3 on the board will be a 1:23.59. I do believe XSR is going to beat this lap if he doesn't invalidate, and he does well not to. He will come across the line with a 1:22.2. We do have three drivers now about to cross the line. We have Alfa Romeo of RB Racing and Rolls, both of them nearly beating Sloco. We actually have RB Racing, who is nearly a second down on his time, or who's actually more than a second down. And Rolls is 9/10 off of P1, and then P2. I'm sure he will want to improve that lap, but for now I'm sure he's quite happy with P2. Which Ollie, who was your second fastest driver in Q2, so we'll see what lap times he can set in for sector 2 and see if he can try and grab pole off of XSR. Does, I do believe that is nearly 4 or 5 tenths off of XSR sector 2 time. You actually have a Williams crossing the line. Loco, can he go improve on his time? And he actually does by 2 tenths. Puts him actually in front of his teammate of Dylan. You can see Ollie now coming through the last corner. Can he put it on pole? XSR beats his time of a 1:22 and puts a 1:21.8 on the board. Ollie comes with a 1:23, so there's a massive gap of 1.2 seconds to P2, and I do believe XSR is possibly going to take pole. We do see SK and Trickz, both of them on intermediate tyres in Q3. None of them have gone out yet on Tri Club, don't believe. All set a lap time. We do see a Williams coming into the pits now. But from what's seen, we do have Mercedes actually who coming through sector 1. I'm not too sure if this is a proper lap or not. But he is nearly 2 seconds up in his time as he, I'm guessing, spun on his lap with a 1:27.8. You also see RB, I don't know if he's on a lap. We do see Ollie let AlphaTauri through. Does he go up in his time? He's 3 attempts up in his time. He's gonna hopefully try and catch P6 off of Dylan, who is 1.1.5 attempts quicker. We do see XR coming to the pits now, so I'm sure he's not too worried about a pole as RB does come into the pits. It does look like there is a lot of time to gain in his lap. We do see Solo, who is one of the only drivers out on track. We do have a Mercedes though of Yates, who's actually spun it at the Wall of Champions. Looks like he's struggling to get his car straight. Does just look like the track may unless he's put the wrong setup on or something, but it does look like he might be struggling for grip out there. We do now see multiple drivers. There's actually 5, 6, just more and more drivers putting on inters, so it does look like the track is dry enough. We do see Yates. We actually see Dylan when the first intermediate drivers come out on track. It does look like he has way more grip than what he did on the wets, and I do believe the track has now officially intermediate tyre compounds. You actually see XSR as well, just behind Dylan's teammate. In the other Williams we see, I believe that's SK out for his first lap of Q3, and I don't know, as he's 4 minutes left, so I don't know if he's going to try and he's put extra fuel in the car to set multiple laps or just for the one singular lap, but it's going to be close. I do think people that are staying in the pits now are going to have a big advantage if the track is clearing up with the rain, as the more they wait the more dry the track will be. But, you see Dylan now comes across, and we'll see how good of a lap he can set. So I'm sure there will be a big gap compared to his old sector time on full wets to intermediate tyres now, and he does go an entire second quicker with the purple sector 1. Can we see, I believe his teammate go quicker in sector 1. He only goes 6 tenths with the XSR. He's now set a purple sector 1. I will actually watch XSR's lap, as this could very well be pole for the race. See him come now near the end of sector 2. Does he get another purple sector? And he does, by going 1.4 tenths quicker than what his lap time was. This was set with a 1:19.4. We'll see what he can do in his last sector. Can he get that 2 second gap compared to his old lap time on full wets? It did sound like he actually might have lifted a bit. Dylan does go across, he does get pole with a 1:20.2. His teammate comes across the line nearly 7 tenths quicker, with XSR coming with a 1:19.6. That is provisional pole for now. You do see an AlphaTauri come across the line. Looks like that lap was invalidated. Now the Alfa Romeo RB Racing comes across the line and P3 with a 120.5. The next driver of Solo, he's just started his lap, I believe. SK, the first driver to not set a lap, and he does go on pole with a 119.5, barely beating XSR. I'm sure that these two are going to have a massive battle. Yeah, it is, yeah. So now see Trickz, who actually comes across sector 2 with purple sector 2. I'm not sure if someone just beat that then, but he's the only driver currently in Q3 to not set a lap. I do believe the track is very, very dry now, so I'm sure everyone that goes out will be improving on their lap times. He comes across the last chicane, comes across World Champions, and Dylan actually goes on pole with a 119.5. Can Trickz beat that time? With a 119 flat with 5 tenths on P2. You see XSR coming across, and he goes quicker on 18.7. All the lap times are changing in Q3. You see AlphaTauri coming across the line. Can he get pole? And he does with a 118.6. This is absolutely amazing. I'm sure XSR did beat the line. I'm sure everyone's on a lap. He's actually invalidated, so that is XSR's quali over. His chances of pole are done. We see RB Racing coming across the line. He's also invalidated. He will be on a lap now. We see SK coming across the line. He is down on his time. He still gets time for another lap as Yates goes into P7. He's on another lap, but it does look like he's backed out. Ollie, the first driver to cross the line, goes P3 with a 118.8. 2 tenths off the pole. Let's hope he can keep that P3. And as XSR, I believe that's off track. I don't know if he's just spun there. You see your pole sitter currently of Ross. He does come across sector 2, and he's only 1 tenth down actually on his time. And old tyres, I'm not sure if people are gonna be out of fuel, as we do see RB Racing, who's 8 tenths currently up on his time. Dylan crosses the line, and that's his lap over. As Trickz comes on pole with a 118.3, nearly 3 tenths quicker than P2. And oh my days, what is going on in Q3 today? Bryce, can he beat his time? Doesn't look like he can, and seems very happy with P2. We see Solo, who comes across the last corner and does invalidate. RB will be your next driver to cross the line, coming across World Champions. Done that very nicely. Can he get pole? Doesn't look like it, but he does improve by 8 tenths, and that's him in P8. We see Yates now, your last driver of Q3, and he is pitting. I do not know why he would pit. Why? No idea why he pit, but your pole sitter for Canada, your season opener, is Trickz with a 118.3. That was an amazing qualifying, so I can't wait for what the race holds. It did look like XSR in Q2 was going to run away with this win quite easily, but he's actually starting in P4, and I believe the top 10 are all pretty close together. I'm sure one or two drivers will not be happy. I mean, Loco did not look like he really got to set a proper lap, but your top 6 all very close with only 8 tenths separating. But your starting P10 is Trickz, Skids, Riles, XSR, Ollie, Solo, Dylan, P8 for RB Racing, P9 for Yates, and P10 Loco. We see what this the race has to unveil, and let's hope it's not carnage into turn 1. Sure, Canada is a very, very strict place for track limits, so I do believe quite a few pins are going to be given out today, but we will let's hope that doesn't play too big of a part for the race. We see what someone's gone straight in. I don't believe they've actually managed to set. It doesn't look like it's raining for me, but there currently does look like pretty much every single driver is starting on hards, except for El Pato in the Haas in P11. Does look like he's going to be going for quite an aggressive strategy today. As we actually see P4 of XSR on the softs. I believe there will be a formation lap. Is there a formation lap? 5 red lights. And it's underway. We do see Trickz, who gets a very bad start. Skids actually comes across the line and he's now into P1. Can we see the AlphaTauri make a dive? No, we don't. Skids does break quite late though. And he knee pushes the AlphaTauri into the wall when he's got wing damage, and they've all spun, and it's carnage after the restart. The start. Would you see Solo actually start? Oh wow, that was. Says there's nearly 5 cars round, I do believe, at the start. XSR is very low behind, and Solo has had an amazing start, P1 and P2, and that Skids with the 5-second penalty, and so is. Those at Yates, Skids, JB. It is absolute carnage for the start at Canada. We now watch on board with Dylan, who will be trying to gain on Solo. And I do believe most drivers are starting on hards. You have El Paso in P4, who's had an amazing start, gained 7 positions. He is up into P4. On the mediums, he will want to gain time on all 3 drivers ahead of him, and he will want to get into P1 and gap most of the grid for his strategy to work. And we do see Riles come into the pits. He will have wing damage off of what happened with him and Skids. Yeah, he got shoved into a wall. He doesn't, no, he seems completely fine. We'll watch XS Dylan now, who's nearly 2 tenths on Solo. Can we see one of these 2 drivers make a move for the win? And that's Drift King, who's already got a penalty for track limits. That is not what you want to see here. Penalties. Yates is up into P5, but he does have 10 seconds worth of penalties. Can we see X Dylan try and make a move for the last corner? No, he doesn't. He keeps it very safe. So I do believe he does get a better exit out of the Water Champions than Solo, and it does look like he's up into P1, and he also won. Ollie does get. Oh my god! Everyone's stealing all the fastest laps. Can we see Ollie try and get in on this action? Dylan has made it round Solo for P1. See Ollie, I'm sure he will be pushing as hard as possible to get past us. Solo's got a penalty already. Ooh, did look like Solo cut Ollie off just a little bit. I'm sure these 3 drivers will be trying their absolute hardest. XSR's now got a penalty up in P9 on those softs. There is penalties all up and down the grid, with Solo and P2 with 3 seconds, Yates P5 with 10. SK's pitted, but he has set the fastest lap time, surprisingly, with hards. But he's the first driver to set a 1:14. It does look like Ollie might be making a move now. Does not. Can he get a better exit on the Water Champions? Cannot. We're starting onto lap 4 now. As Edward now, your old, and Edward's actually had an amazing start after a rough qualifying out with him out in Q2. Trickz does set fastest lap in P14, but Edward's now in P5. He is only a couple attempts behind El Paso in the Haas, as Riles does set a 1:13.6, which is 1.3 seconds than Skids, who is in 19th place. All Hondas had a horrid race. He is, I'm sure he got taken out on the start, as that's Ollie that's actually made it up into P2. Did miss that. Can we see Solo make a dive bomb? As that's yellow flags, and that is RB Racing. I don't know what happened there. Has he lost the front wing? I can't tell from this camera angle. It doesn't look like he has. He might have just spun. See Solo now, who has made it past Ollie. They don't make contact, which is very good racing here. And he actually gets with the DRS, and his Yates with 13 seconds of pens. And he's also flashing. Ollie only 3 tenths behind. I'm sure he's going to be a bit annoyed. We do see Dylan now making a gap from these two fighting. Only 1/10. Can he resend it? And he will not. He'll stay behind for the DRS, as Edwards now up into P4. Does look like he wants to get in on this battle. Sorry. Position change. Oh, and that's Ollie that's nearly spun Solo, I believe. Edwards now up into P3. We also see El Paso make past. We see Edwards now try and make a move. If we do have a look at the ERS, Ollie's now 8 with Edwards on 30% ERS. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move as he's too far back. Can he get a decent exit out of Turning Champions? No, he cannot. El Pato now in P4, and that's actually Solo, who's in the pits. Does look like he might have got damage from that little bit of contact. He also does look like an AlphaTauri might be pitting. I don't. Yeah, that is Aston's now, who Solo was having a great race. He was in the lead for the first couple of laps, but Dylan got past and hit that little contact he had with Ollie. You see Patterson and Yates going for it in the first DRS zone of the track. Can he make it? Does look like he's on the medium, so he's on the quicker tyre compound. XSR now up into P5 as well on those softs. I'm sure he is trying his best. However, he is fully out of ERS. Is his teammate ahead in 25? Will we see any team orders come into play? As it does look like SSR should be a little bit quicker on those softs. We do see Patterson now going on the back straight with DRS and using all that ERS he has, and he's made it into P6. Now it does look like he's going to be in the charge for both the hazards in front of him, as we do see XSR doesn't look like he's going to make a move on his teammate. Goes into gear 1 though. As we do see now Drift King pitting on the hard. It does, I'm guessing he has some wing damage, as we will go. It does look like XSR has made it past his teammate. We also see Patterson and make a move in the house. And that's an Aston Martin round. Is that Gilly? Doesn't look like he's got wing damage, just looks like he's spun. We will look on Patterson now, still in P6, only a couple temps behind. Behind Parry, they're both on the exact same tyre compound, so I do believe they should be on around the same pace, as it does look like these lot might actually have a good battle. Watch Edwards now, as he does have 50% ERS, whereas Ollie only ahead, and that's Patterson that's actually made it round for P5, and he's just caught the corner, and he's nearly spun. He has spun. He's taken out the World Champions. I do not. I'm sad I just missed that. I saw that looking back, but that's a shame. He's just made such a good move on Pato, and he now spun. As you do see Edwards now, still slowly behind, and still slowly behind Ollie. Only a couple attempts. Body Snatcher gets another 3-second time penalty, I believe. And that is all your penalties so far. Does look, we have quite a good battle here for P10, as there's 4 cars involved here. Not want to miss out on this action. Can we see anyone make a move? Alpha getting close, and he's actually spun himself and the Ferrari round. I do believe that might have been quite a late braking for the Ferrari there, early braking, but I'm sure that will definitely get investigated, as Dylan, your current driver in P1, has got a 3-second time penalty, as Edwards actually made it past Ollie, so he is now on for Dylan, who does now have a penalty which will hinder his race quite a bit. But can we see Edwards, your reigning champion, try and make something out of the pace he has? That's a Red Bull, I don't know what. I do not know what he's doing. I don't know if he's just like stopped on track or what. We now see the top 3 all within 1 second of Dylan. You can see Edwards try and see if he's got a bit of a more streamlined car for the straights, and if he gains, it doesn't look like he will, as Dylan will be deploying both of them around 20%, as that is, I do believe, a Ferrari round. I don't know if he's taken someone with him or not. So we will watch. Edwards does look like he's going to be able to make a move now going into turn 1. They both cross the line, and he has centre on him, and that's Edwards up into P1. We see Dylan and Ollie, both of them still behind him, try see if they can catch him, both of them on fairly low ERS. As if we have a quick look at the fastest laps, he has set a 1:14, so only that's nearly a second quicker than both the drivers behind him, and I'm sure he will be delighted with the current race he's had. Drift King gets 3-second time penalty at AlphaTauri. Track limits, does look like Ollie might want to try and get past Dylan as well as quick as possible, as we do now start seeing Edward has started flashing. Dylan does have 30% ERS. I do not believe he's going to be able to make a move now, but he has kept up to Ollie, so I think these 3 might keep how it is. Both Hasses have had a fairly decent recovery drive of, I believe, both of them, and that's actually XSR coming into the pits. I don't know what tyre compound he's going to try come on. I don't know if he's going to go into the hards or the mediums, maybe another pair of softs. And it looks like the mediums he's going on to, and he is, and he's changing a front wing. He's got front wing damage. Do not know why he's got front wing damage. We do have Loco SK in P19 getting to Penn, who was P2. XSR now comes out just ahead of both the Aston Martins. I'm sure both of them are going to try and help each other. It does like RB Racing and this Ferrari, they've been pretty close most of the race. They actually made contact earlier. It does look like one of the top 3 might be making a move now on the back straight. Still, P1 and P3 both don't have that much ERS, whereas Dylan does have a little bit more for a straight line advantage. As we do see RB making a move, and that's a Ferrari out. I do not know, he's literally, does look like that's contact, he's parked it, and that does seem to be a safety car. Will we see any drive-through penalty for Yates speeding on the safety car, and we will see what strategies people are going to start playing out. We do see Mercedes and a Haas. We do see many cars coming into the pits. Will we see what Edwards does? RB gets a penalty, drive-through penalty for driving under safety cars. What tyres does it look like everyone's going on? Williams on mediums, as we do see AlphaTauri come out on hards. As I also don't know, will we see the lineup change a bit? But it does look like those drivers like SK, who is last on the grid currently, hopefully have some time to catch up to the pack and see if he can turn his race around. As do you see Edwards comes to the pit, so does Dylan, does Ollie. Ollie does not, Ollie stays out on his old hards. We'll have a look at what tyres we're going on. I do have Torio MP4 in a McLaren, who's actually had quite a quiet race. We've not seen him battle too much, but it does look like he might just come ahead of P2 and P3, I think. Can he stick it out ahead? I don't think he will. It's going to be close. Can he get Dylan? And he does. He's made it up into P3. He's not pitted either actually, so he's doing hopefully what Ollie does. But we do now have Edwards, Dylan and XSR P2, 4 and 5 all on fresh mediums, whereas you do have P1 and P3 of Ollie and Torio both on old hards. Yates has got again another penalty. He's not only got a drive through to serve, but he also does have about 16 seconds worth of penalties. I'm sure he's his team principal at Mercedes will not be too happy, but let's hope he can sort his race around. It does look like the safety car might be out for a bit, as there is going to be quite a while before the whole grid does catch up. SK is actually lapped, and it doesn't look like the safety car is going to let him unlap himself. And I'm sure we don't see Ollie come into the pits, so he is very certain on sticking on this tyre compound, as we do see just people trying to unlap themselves. I don't know why, I don't know what the safety car is doing and why it's not letting them unlap themselves, but it does look like SK will be the only car that is unable to unlap himself. But we'll now have a look at the position changes. So we do have P2 and P3 of Edwards and Torio. Both started like this position in qualifying, I do believe, with Edwards just in front of Torio, but they have both gained 12 and 13 positions on the entire grid. SK, I'm sure, is going to be furious. He's not able to unlap himself, and he is also 16 positions down on his time. That's my bad. But it does look like Ollie's gonna possibly have the start he wants. We do still have Mercedes of Honda and the Aston Martin of Gilles, who have to catch up mainly to the pack. But we do see the top four have all gained positions. XSR, after being round lap 1, he's now up into P5. I'm sure he's had an excellent recovery drive. I do believe he is on mediums, but he's on quite old ish mediums. I don't know if they're gonna last him to the end of the race. We also have Trickz again up into P6. He's still on his starting hards that he started the race on. And it does look like the safety car should be in this lap. If I'm not mistaken, I will stay on board with Edward, as he has had great race pace this entire race. He's made up multiple positions and even made it up into P1. And after pitting, he's into P2 while P1 has not pitted. So I am sure it does, yeah, the safety car will be coming in this lap. And we'll watch these three. Also, actually watch, does look like Alpha Tauris, P11, P12. I'm sure they will both be looking for a good start to help them, each other out. We have the Hasses in P5 and 7. And does look like they're this. We also have P14 and 16 of both the Astons, who I'm sure will want to work together to try and get the best race they can. As we see Ollie coming around the last corner, it does believe like he's gone straight away. Edwards now in P2. Can he make it past the lap car? It does look like Skids might have to let a couple of drivers round. I do not believe we've actually seen any changes just yet. Driver still coming through turn 1. Edwards is still have somewhat of a gap to Ollie, however he is on much faster tyres. And it looks like we've had a very clean safety car restart. But we now watch Edwards start to hunt down the pole. Or is that McLaren round? Torio's had a bit of a wobble, I do believe, so he's dropped a couple positions. We also see El Paso, he nearly sent it into him and he spun the McLaren round. I do believe that might have been El Paso's fault, not 100% sure. You see them coming around the first lap after the safety car restart. We see Edwards using his battery, as that's Yates into the pits now. Edwards is still stuck behind Ollie. It does look like he does have a bit more raw pace. And that does look like a collision at the last corner of All Honda and Gilly. I'm sure they will both not be too happy with that. Yates, Honda's teammate, P15. Does look like they have both had a bit of a rough safety car restart. We do see Edwards now coming through midway through sector 2, and it doesn't look like there's actually been too many movements or overtaking after this safety car restart. It does look like there's been a couple collisions, however. Ollie on 60% ERS, whereas Edwards behind him on 90. I'm sure he will be very happy with the advantage, and it does look like he's going to use it and try and get past Ollie. Coming down the back straight, Ollie's got that inside line, and Edwards has made that move stick very nicely. Can we see Ollie maybe try to go for a move again? It doesn't. Edwards used 40% ERS now. Ollie is going to have that DRS now though, so I'm sure he will try his best. It does look like we have two drivers come into the pits of Drift King and RB Racing. It doesn't look like he's actually got any damage to the car, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, he's actually already done his pit stop. See Drift King coming as well. We now watch XSR, see if he can try and make a move on Dylan, as XSR did seem to have the pace in Q2, and I don't know what happened in Q1. We had some technical issues. as it does. XSR is going to use all that ERS of his that he does have. Dylan, however, does have 60%. Al Pato's got Patterson, and so has the McLaren of Torio. As you do see XSR make a move and he spun himself round. Or when he's put a Williams into the Wall of Champions and he's made a Haas round and he's caused carnage. And he's coming to the pits. I do believe he caused not only XSR has retired from the race. It does look like these three are going a bit dirty into Sector 1. Hi, what's up, Charlie? As we do now see the Aston try and make a move around the outside of the Haas, and he has made it happen. Now, I'm not completely sure this Haas is not damage free. As he is, it does look like there's a bit of scratching on that front wing of his, but I'm not too sure he's got that much damage. It does look like Edwards has nearly got a 2-second gap to Ollie, with Trickz up into P3. However, these P2 and P3 are still on the old tyres they started on with. I do not know if they might try pit for medium soon, or they're going to try extend their stint and try pit for softs. Do you see anyone try and make some moves? We do have McLaren the McLaren and the Aston going for it into the last corner. Can we see the McLaren get a better exit? I don't think we can. We can actually. He's going around it for turn 1. He's made it fully in front. It does look like these two are both in OMG. I'm guessing they both know who they are. I'm sure they are loving this battle right now. I'm sure Solo will want to get a better exit now on this DRS straight for an overtake on Torio in the McLaren, and that's someone out. Yates is retired. I don't know if that's going to be a safety car or not, and he has fully stopped, and that does look like a safety car, so it actually might play out for Ollie and Trickz. Will we see Edwards come into pits now for maybe fresh mediums? There's Drift Kings. And we see Edwards go around. I'm sure Ollie and Trickz will both come into the pits. What I believe they're both going to come onto softs. We also see Dylan come in on his old mediums. So will we see Edwards making the wrong call with this pit stop? I apologise, had to but we do see Ollie now on P2 on fresh mediums, so it does look like his safety car stint or his pit strategy is possibly ruined, as he will be on 8 lap old tyres, whereas Ollie will be on completely fresh tyres. Still 14 laps to go left of this race, so who knows, there could be another safety car. People have to pit for softs. You see Patterson now up into P3 on hards. He's on old hards. We see Pato P5. But it does look like everyone from P10 on those fresh mediums is going to be in a run for the win of this race. We have seen Edwards' sheer pace of Canada and Montreal, so will he be able to hold off Ollie for the rest of this race? I'm not sure. I don't think there will be any punctures, but we'll have to see. Alright, so we do see SK is still lapped. I think this game they do need to unbug this a little bit, as SK's literally been stuck behind for the last 2 safety cars. And it is a shame as everyone's catching up while he's still an entire lap behind. You see Drift King, who will be the last actual driver on the grid. He is on old tyres though, and does look everyone that's currently on mediums, except for the last 2, and Edwards. Everyone else on mediums is pitted for fresh ones, whereas everyone on hards that pitted for that old safety car is on their old tyres, as they do believe they will last. We have Patterson P3, Pato P5, and RB Racing in P11. Yates has left the lobby. He is fortunately DNF. And will we see maybe Drift King come into the pits now? It is the final lap, and we do not. No one comes into the pits for the final lap. Edwards is sticking to his strategy. He believes what he believes, and he wants to stay out on these tyres and make them last to the end. As we do have a quick look at the penalties, we do have Patterson P3 with 3 seconds, Pato and Dylan both on 3 seconds. Loco does have a drive-through. Though I'm sure that will actually ruin his race completely. Drift King has the same. Solo's got 3 seconds, RB Racing on 6. JB has 5 seconds worth of penalties, which will end up to, I believe, 10 seconds at the end if he does not serve it. Gillies on 6 seconds, and SK has 3. It does look like safety car will be coming in this lap, so we will watch Ollie and see if he can make a move on Edwards. I apologise for that. Yes, we will quickly watch Edwards on his safety car restart. It does look like SK will prevent Ollie from actually making a move on the start. So we see all the cars coming around the final corner now. He has gone. Ollie hasn't had the best start, but neither has most drivers behind him. It doesn't look like anyone's really going to get to make a move. It does look like McLaren P9. JB's made it past Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo comes back at JB. We see Honda behind him in the Mercedes, and Aston tries to make a move on him. It does look like he's backed out just a little bit. Now watch Dylan, both of them, the Williams, going side by side at the end of sector 1. And he did look like he made a little bit of contact with the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri has moved past. You see Loco on Pato. Does look like he might make a move. Who's round? And that's Torio in the McLaren, who is round. It doesn't look like he does not have damage. But that is not what you want to see after a safety car restart. Loco made it on Pato. I don't know if Pato made or messed up on that exit. And it does look like Loco's coming in to serve his 3-second his drive-through penalty. Now we do see Trickz, only 8 temps, who actually set the fastest sector lap. And Edwards got 3-second time penalty. He does have 3-second time penalty, so if the race to end how it is now, he will be up in P3 and Ollie will win the race. Does look like Trickz has that pace on those mediums, and he is catching on Ollie. He sends a purple sector 1, as it actually looks like someone behind him beat that. But it does look like if any move's going to happen for the top 3 on the podium, it does look like Trickz will make a move on Ollie before Ollie catches up to Edwards. And I'm sure this is what Edward wants, as he will want those two to fight out. While it does look like RB Racing is round, this is not the first time he's been round this race. He spun pretty quickly at the start, I do believe. You see quite a big gap. We do see quite a big train from P9 up to P5. Trickz does set faster slack, as it does look like Eddie possibly made a mistake, as there is now only 1.2 seconds between P1 and P3. And Ollie's just got another time penalty, or I do believe that's his first pen. So currently Trickz is chilling in P3, and currently he would win the race. I don't know if these three might get penalties after the race due to what the stewards decide. You see Dylan and these, like the current midfield, all battling quite a bit. You do see these three getting very close though. ERS wise, Edwards on 30%, whereas Ollie's on 50% and Trickz is actually on 70%. Does look like Dylan's managed to get past JB. It does look like these lot are going to go 3 wide into the hairpin of the end, the start of sector 3. They all get wide, and has Dylan just made a second move? It does look like he did, but now Honda's gonna make it through on Dylan. Both of them going into the last sector. These three getting very close. No one's currently in a wall yet. It does look like Honda's made it through. A little bit of contact between all three of them, but Honda's just made an amazing move for P8 on both of them. Can we see Dylan possibly go back? As I have missed it, Ollie's close behind. Trickz is now up into P1. And that's Gilly round, I do believe. Is he out? He's not. Looks like him and RB Racing have had a bit of a collision. You see that AlphaTauri make it past him now. As that's Edward's round. Edward is round. He is still in P3, but I'm sure he will not like the looks of that. He does have Patterson now behind him, who is on old hards. And has Edward's strategy ruined his race for him? He's now P3, 7 seconds behind Ollie in P2. I'm sure he will not like the looks of that. We do see Alpine of Patterson P4. We actually have 3 OMG drivers in here. I don't know if they're all friends. That's some type of esports. We do see 3 of them in P5, P6 and P11. And it does look like he's actually put in. Sorry, what tyres is he coming onto? Is that softs? It is softs. They're changing the front wing as well. And that's not the only driver in the pits. That is Drift King coming in as well for softs. He's not changing his front wing. He's just decided to change it. So we do see Trickz on 50% ERS, while Ollie is struggling at 3. Edwards is still losing time to the guys ahead. That Passo has always gets a switchback truck, possibly cannot. Honda's made it past up into P7. He's having a very good race here. Honda, after I'm pretty sure starting last on the grid and getting spun round lap 1, and Passo's hit the back of him. As these 4 are still going very close. Did he get front wing damage from that? I'm not sure he did. And we see Dylan possibly using ERS to try to get past him. Pato is flashing out the first 3. And Dylan has sent it for the last corner. He's made it past the Haas of Passo. I do believe they're all on the exact same pit strategy. They pretty much are. Honda's on 1 lap old mediums. But that is not. I'm sure he's very happy with that, as he now has a 7-second gap to P6, and I'm sure he will want to concentrate and get his head down and try and catch up. P6 however does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he only has the game 1.3 seconds to catch up and get P6. We do see Riles, who is actually very close to Patterson, ahead of him. You actually see both of these three drivers very close, as it does look like Trickz is starting to make a gap to P2, while Edwards has increased that gap behind him. And that's Riles actually, who has just got his first 3-second time penalty, so he will now have to overtake P4 to get him up into get him in P4. And looks like Pato's round. Does Pato have damage? He looks like he's lost his entire front wing. I'm guessing he's spun just like his teammate, and he's now out of the points with Gilles behind him with 14 seconds worth of penalties. We see JB's now the closest driver to the driver ahead of him. It doesn't look like he is. Both of the drivers, P7 and 8, are saving their ERS for a bit. As we can see, the two drivers ahead of them, both of them on nearly, or Solo is on 20%, whereas the Avatar ahead is only on 15, and he is using ERS. Sure, Solo will be a bit annoyed. Trickz is having a very good race. He's even got 2 seconds to the guys behind him, and he started behind Edwards at the safety car restart, and I do believe he has fastest lap as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he does, with the next quickest lap, I believe, set by Edwards for 1:13.4. So he has 3 tenths quicker. Someone's joined, I have no idea who that is. And you'll see JB still only 6 tenths behind. That Pato may be round again. Pato is pitting, and he's changed his front wing and he's gone for softs, maybe trying to get the fastest lap. Body snatcher. Body snatcher was unfortunately the first driver to go out, and I do believe him and XSR caused the first safety car, as El Pato's actually just came out behind RB Racing. Can we see both of them on new softs try and have a good battle here? Looks like they actually got warnings there. We'll have a quick look at Trickz's incidents, if he has any warnings. Oh my god, the warnings on lap 1 is still going. Body snatcher, see a Red Bull of Trickz. Do we see Trickz? Trickz. I do not believe we are going to see. We do see Trickz as 1 warning. And 3. There's collision pens. Collision warnings. So it doesn't look like Trickz actually has too many pens. Warning, so, or he's getting 2 actually. Trickz is probably, I believe, 1 warning away from pen, as we actually see Solo trying to make a move. Patterson, I missed it. Riles has been spun round, trying to make a move on Gilles, and he has made that work very nice and smoothly. Solo draining all that ERS, getting it past Patterson, and he's done it for P4. He does, however, from what I believe, have 6 seconds compared to Pato, who only has 3, so he is going to have to gap to gain those 3 seconds. You see JB now very close to Honda in front of him. Both of them getting very, they're still quite high, both of them are on ERS. It does look like JB might be storing all that ARS for last lap to try and send it on Honda. As Loco does get another pen, he is currently in P9. But it does look like Edwards, who is now 12 seconds behind Ollie. I'm sure his tyres has completely fallen off. We actually see Dylan behind JB, who's actually got 5 seconds worth of time pens. JB does well. Dylan's only got 3, so it actually might look like JB will not be finishing P7 where it is. Does look like these three are really the only close drivers, so we will watch a bit of Trickz master the track of Canada. He has he was on pole, I do believe, for this forum, as Riles on the softs does go quickest. He has gone fastest by 6/10, if I'm correct from memory. So Riles has now just got another 3-second time penalty. That's not what you want to see. You see Trickz using some ERS. Ollie behind him is stuck on 8%. As it is the final lap of the race. Trickz started on pole, and he does look like he's gonna come round to win the race, unless he has an unlucky spin. I don't believe I know who's gonna get penalties or not for the race. Does look like he looked up a little bit there. Does look like there is Torio gets a pen. Does look like there was a little bit of fight going on there, but we will watch Trickz as he comes around the back straight of Montreal. He's done amazing with the pit strategy on the safety car restart, and he will come across the corner of champions, comes across the line to win the Canada Grand Prix. We see Ollie come just behind him in a solid, very solid P2. I'm pretty sure he didn't have one of the best qualifyings, if I'm not mistaken. Edwards, who had a shocker in qualifying, starting P14, had an amazing race, and unfortunately his pit strategy of the safety car ruined his race just a little bit. We do see the next couple of drivers cross the line. We do see Dylan, who was actually leading the race for the start of this race. He's now down into P7 as he gets across JB with his penalty. We do see All Honda, who actually beat who was up into P6 now. He had a very hard race for thing. We do see Drift King and Torio come across the line. Both of them, I'm sure, will not be too happy with their race. RB Racing, who looked like he had some decent form in qualifying, and unfortunately could not do so well in the race. As JB does get driver of the day. And we do see Trickz coming round onto the podium to win the first race of season 3 Monday Night Racing in XRL. I'm sure he will be delighted, and Red Bull will be delighted. Just like real life, Red Bull's on pole wins the race, and he had an amazing race with some good overtakes, I'm sure. Ollie P2 and Edwards, after having quite a shocker, he does have a very, very good race of P3. Now your fastest lap point will go to Riles, if I'm not mistaken, if he doesn't get any pens and get dropped. But your top 10 for Canada Grand Prix is Trickz, Ollie, Edwards, Solo, Patterson, Honda, Dylan, JB, Riles, and in the Williams, Loco. Now I will get all of this on stream, but as I am, you could say, a small streamer, I was told to ask if I wanted to commentate, as XRL didn't actually have a commentator. So I would highly appreciate if you guys could go and give me a follow. I stream quite a bit, but I wouldn't normally do this, but I did ask Cruz and he did let me. So I'd highly appreciate if you guys could come and give me a follow. I'd normally stream quite a bit, so yeah. But it's been a good race for your XRL crew Racing League Season 3 opener. Trickz does come to take the win, and I'm sure Red Bull will be delighted. That's XRL, and I will see you in a week's time.